Okay. Kool-Aid Man coming through.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Episode 686.
I love that number. Oh, you know why?
Best.
Because that's a brand.
What brand?
It's a clothing brand, a snowboard clothing brand, 686.
Is it based on some sort of like area code
No,
thing?
but that's actually a good question, and probably.
Probably in reality it is.
Yeah, it's probably, I don't know. I bet it's Utah.
You know them.
Yeah.
Those wild Utahns.
Mm-hmm. All the good snow.
How are you? How are you
real
doing?
well.
What are you doing?
You
were going to say it.
I was going to
She was
talk
gonna
about my
swear jar
significant
it.
other. Yeah, he is so excited for you to come out here. And he said that he's going to try to incorporate the word pow and powder into as many sentences as possible and see just how frustrated he can make you. So
that is
look forward to
cruel. That is cruel.
Right.
As long as he doesn't whistle, don't remind him of my...
I won't. And I was
hatred.
thinking about that because he was bugging me the other day with his whistling.
See, it's so annoying.
Because I had a stupid song stuck in my head. Because that's what happens, is he whistles the song, and then I can't stop singing the song. Oh, you know what? This is great, because I had it stuck in my head this morning, and then I was thinking, do I just listen to this song on...
Sometimes that helps.
Sometimes
people.
it does, but then I decided that would be a bad idea, and now I don't even remember what the song was. So this is great.
That's good.
This is
okay.
good. Let's not think any more about this.
Yeah, don't. And...
So. He's going to do
really,
it. It's going to be great.
Really? He does it that frequently that you're guaranteeing that he'll do it in
Guaranteeing multiple occasions where you're going to have to say that's enough. Hopefully enough to where he just like...
That's unbelievable.
You know what?
I
don't want to steal his joy.
I do. Because his whistling will steal my joy.
You're right.
Like, come on.
You're right. Susie does not like no loud noises.
No. Let's calm down, everybody. Curb your enthusiasm.
You love it.
All right. Let's start with Bonky Bonks, which is on HBO.
Wait, that's a real thing?
No.
Oh. Oh, God. Oh, God. I thought you were saying, let's start. I was like, hold the motherfucking phone. Don't tell me there's an actual...
Okay.
I need to know what this is. Is it about bounce houses? Is it about... It could have gone anywhere. Guys, I maybe have had a half a glass of wine, but that's it.
I'm just saying that what I'm about to tell you about is bonkers is all. But it's my fault for, introducing new slang. On HBO, there's a 6-part documentary series, so it's a real commitment.
Whoa.
6 parts. It's called Mind Over Murder.
Oh.
And it's about a group of people called the Beatrice Six. When there's like a number after it, it's like wrongfully accused.
Oh, really?
Nightmare. Yeah, like remember the Central Park 5 or whatever.
Oh.
There's always like a number attached.
Huh.
So the Beatrice Six are
the wrongfully
people,
accused or excellent R&B group.
or Motown Philly's back again.
Yes. It's either Motown music. Oh, God. That's awful and problematic in and of its own. Oh.
Right. Well, I was thinking Boys to Men, but you're thinking Jackson 5. You're so right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was just, all
the above. Everything works.
Yeah. In this case, the Beatrice Six were a group of people who were convicted of a murder and rape of a woman. And the reason they were convicted is because 5 of the 6 of them confessed. And they didn't just confess. They gave like very specific details about how it happened and who was there and why and whatever. And so this series starts with this murder, and then these people come in and they confess and blah, blah, blah. And then eventually you're shown why they confessed to things that they did not do. And they were in jail
What the heck would make somebody confess to things that they didn't do? In a way
this
like...
is the real... Right. Especially in such detail.
Yeah. And multiple.
Right. Well,
What?
the thing that makes someone do that is what we keep talking about on the show over many of the last few episodes is the fragility of the human brain and how the flexibility of our brain can be advantageous and help with survival in certain situations. But in other situations, like when you're going for police questioning, you can end up all mixed up about like what's true, what happened. And it's hard for people to believe because as your day-to-day life, you think, I would never be tricked into confessing to a murder that I didn't do.
God. Please. We didn't think that we would follow through with what a manager in air quotes, or police officer was telling us to do on the phone.
Oh my gosh, right.
I don't think I would confess to a murder I didn't do.
Well,
that's terrifying.
But let's consider some of the things we know to be true about when you go in for these questionings. Number one,
leading the witness.
Yeah, law enforcement often says little white lies, to manipulate the person. Like they'll say like, well, your buddy said such and such, and we know you did it. Like, have you ever watched the 48 Hours show on,
yeah. And it makes you question.
A&E?
Yeah. And if somebody said to me, I do this all the time. Like, what did we do last night? Where did I have dinner? What did I eat? If somebody
I truly think that you are a prime candidate for this.
Prime. When we watched that show, and I mean we as in you and me, Susie. When we watched that show about the woman who was in Italy and ended up getting caught for murder, or going down for murder.
Yeah.
I was like, that could happen to me. I honestly saw how something similar, how I could fall.
You have a very active imagination.
And I have incongruent affect, where when I get really nervous, I laugh at times where I should be probably serious or crying. And that makes people
you look like a psychopath.
Totally. But instead I'm just neurodivergent. Okay, leave me alone.
She's got a tender spirit, you guys. No, for real. It's not just you either. It's all of us. This is just the plasticity of the human brain can be manipulated and molded, and it can be wonderful in some ways, but in the wrong situation, you can fuck up your life. Because these guys they went to jail for years and years, all of them.
How do you not say no? I didn't some
of them did at certain points. Like this one guy, he was like, I said that I did that, but I didn't. I wasn't even there. They don't even know this lady. They weren't even at her apartment or anything. Okay. And the investigator was like, bullshit, and like got real aggressive, and you can watch it. It's all on tape.
And memories are so fragile that you can convince somebody be totally.
They're unreliable.
Don't you think? I do feel like the older I get, the harder time I have differentiating between what I dreamt and what really happened.
Totally.
Where I'll be like, because I start dreaming about boring ass things now. I don't dream about going to an underground.
Remember I said, because life is so weird now that I feel like our dreams are just pretty much the same as real life.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't remember. I honestly don't know if that happened in life. I don't know. I can't trust anything.
So if you are up for a commitment, this is such a good watch, because by episode 4, you're just like, I cannot believe what happened to these people. And it's tragic. And the worst part about it is the lead investigator. I mean, he is unrepentant, even though DNA put none of them at the scene. None of their DNA was there in any way. And they had semen and, other DNA. And it was this one guy that they now know who did it.
They didn't even have matching bodily fluids. They knew it didn't match his. And they still...
This was far enough ago that mostly what was relied upon was, blood type. And so they kept adding to who was there until they got the right blood type at least. And then they turned down the more expensive DNA.
Yeah.
They turned down the
shocker,
testing.
didn't fit their
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were just like, no, we're good. We're good. We got them. We got them, everybody. And then these guys went to jail. Their lives are ruined. And then thankfully they were ultimately exonerated. But
how many years did they spend in jail?
About 10 each. 10 years. Yeah.
Oh, that's long.
And they didn't even know each other. They weren't like, they had heard of each other, but they weren't like some pack of friends.
Are these kind of like uneducated individuals?
Okay. Yeah, some of them had some special needs. Some of them had trauma, like severe trauma.
This
lives.
is terrible. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Which makes you more vulnerable to these kinds of manipulations and stuff. But what I was going to say is the worst part about it is the lead investigator is completely unrepentant, and he's in it, and he will not say that he made mistakes, even though we can see it on the video.
Well, in a way, I feel like that's the same fragility of the mind, where your mind has to deny evidence right in front of it, because what that would mean if you copped to that. In the same way, I mean, that's similar, right?
It is, because he hung his whole identity on I am an amazing investigator and I solved this situation, this crime, and to admit that you really messed up, it's too painful. And so
the brain protects itself.
If you hang in there for all 6 episodes, there is some really cool redemptive stuff about it where people change and learn and grow, and it is really compelling to watch.
This is a big. Usually, you are a tough critic on anything longer than 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, I'm booked solid over here.
Yeah,
get to the point.
So you're if it's not good, you're not wasting your time.
Yeah, there was some really cool parts that came about later where you think, okay, we've done some good here. I'll tell you what else has done some good, and that is freaking Nutrafol. Tip of the hat.
Oh, Suze, can I just say, this might be the first month that you have been able to tuck that little bit of hair behind your ear or into the headphones. Yeah. Because usually when we talk about this, your instinct is to just grab that little piece. I know exactly, right? But now there's not that, it's grown out. I chopped a lot of hair off, but... What? You didn't even show me your cute new haircut?
Well, because it's not cute, Sarah.
I bet it is.
It's not. It isn't. I hate it.
When you come here, I'm going to do your hair, and you're going to love it.
All right.
It'll be good.
Fingers crossed. But it had to be done because my stylist said all the Nutrafol growth is healthy and full and amazing. But we got to get rid of what the other lady ruined.
Yeah.
And so I know I can relate to any of you that have had thinning because of hormones, pregnancy, stress, whatever. Mm-hmm. And Nutrafol is so helpful in sort of helping foster that regrowth and get you back where you want to go, even though it takes time, but it'll help and it'll expedite the process. And they have a deal for you guys. Let me tell you what it is. You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering the promo code BRAINCANDY to save $15 off your first month subscription. This is their best offer anywhere, and it's only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. And you get free shipping on every order. Get $15 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code BRAINCANDY, and that's on our website as well in case you forget it. And I find it to be really helpful, and we'll get there eventually. Got to let it grow out.
Your hair looks so cute.
But, okay. So that's that. I recommend it. It's intense. And it's so sad that can happen. Yeah. But whatevs.
Oh, God.
That's the way it goes.
Better not be caught anywhere with any kind of murder situation, or I'm going in for sure. 100%.
I mean, one of the gals, she just happened to live upstairs in the apartment building. That was her only relationship to anything. And boy, it's very, you feel so much compassion for these people because they were, my God, blindsided. Can you imagine if the police showed up and said,
I'm telling you, you'd be visiting me in jail.
Well, and you know how you have that thing about, if people don't believe you? like, this is the extreme of that. Like, you're
Yeah.
saying, I don't know this person. I've never, and they're saying you murdered her?
No. Oh my God.
Wow. It's intense.
Yeah, I think those cops, the fact that they went on and continued to probably do their job and affect, that's really, there's problems there.
A Brainiac sent me this article. I think we may have even talked about it on the show years ago. Do you remember that lady that was found in a storm drain? It's not funny, but it is. Like, she was like missing, and then they found her in the sewer.
It rings a bell.
I think we talked about it, but
Yeah.
I know I've read about it before. But she keeps being found in these storm drains.
What do you mean she? The same woman?
This same woman has been found
whoa. Alive.
2 or 3 times alive in a storm drain.
This is
Something ain't right.
Something ain't right.
Okay, but so even
What?
though you know nothing about it, I want you to be like, here's what that could be, because I need answers. And
no, this is the firefighter who lights the fires and then puts them out.
okay, so she got maybe the first one was
Yep.
an accident.
Yep. She got
so much attention.
Yep. I mean, it's
She
very
should
different
come
than
up
the
with some
firefighter
new
thing. But I mean, it's like
ways.
she is putting herself. It's the opposite of that. Instead of making herself the hero, she's making herself the victim.
Yeah.
This is like what do they call it? Fictitious illness disorder.
Wait, like hypochondriacs?
Yeah, that's like the clinical term for it.
My God. Okay, so
But like more than that, it's more like making yourself sick, that kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who am I if I'm not ill? Or who am I if I'm not a damsel in distress, maybe in this case?
Right.
Well, I feel like she should come up with some new ways to get in
Absolutely,
peril.
because that's the little boy who cried wolf situation over here.
Right? And like, how many times
Come on.
can you fall into the sewer before we're like, you know what, you're on your own,
You know those
lady.
people who you say get I say you say because you've talked about this on podcasts, but like get hit by lightning bolts.
Yeah.
Bolts. Who get what's the word? What is the word? Who get struck
lightning?
by lightning? That's the. I'm like, what is the phrase for that? Who gets struck by lightning more than once?
Yeah.
And even those guys are crazy to like think that they could get away with saying 3 times.
Yeah, it's like stop holding a golf club in a storm or whatever.
Exactly. After the 3rd or 4th time you've been electrocuted, we're like, now it's on you, buddy.
Yeah, you're not Ben Franklin.
Exactly. This is that. There you go.
Can't you see them out there with a kite and a key?
Yeah. Oh my God. That would be
so-
so funny.
This So this hooker just keeps like getting caught up in a storm drain. I mean, come on. Oh, it says, 3rd time in 2 years. Ma'am.
What are you doing where you
Ma'am.
maybe stop playing your storm drains?
Yeah.
Are there no follow-up questions? Is this woman well?
Yeah. Well, I think it's evident that she's not well. Is what I'm saying.
What if this is like, remember how you interviewed the BTK killer? Or I get BTK. That's just his name.
I wrote him letters, yeah.
Wrote him letters. And there was a discussion about how he remembers being trapped, or not him, his mom was like trapped in a mattress and he rescued her. Mm-hmm. This feels like she's like
it
trapping
can
herself.
create some sort of hard wiring
Yeah.
where you think like this is the solution.
She got rescued one time. And maybe she like getting off on this.
I mean,
Not like that.
Clearly,
I think so.
Clearly, this is benefiting her.
I think at a certain point for people, if this, like, what do? Do you like, it's very expensive to dispatch everyone.
Stop.
Do you send her the bill?
Yeah.
No, I'm like being legit. I'm for real asking.
No, for real. Remember that story we talked about where the guy kept calling 911?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
eventually
somebody's
you get
paying
fined
for this. Oh, eventually you get fined. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Because that
or like
seems
if you
like
say
a little
my
crazy.
kid is missing,
Right.
and they do a big search, but it turns out you murdered him and he's buried in your basement or something.
Oh!
I mean, like that's the least of it. But I'm just saying.
But like, then you get fined. Then like you have to pay for the.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Stop doing that, weirdo.
Yeah. Oh my
God.
God.
I also would recommend the HBO docuseries on the fucking...
If she comes out of that storm drain dressed in gaiters and waterproof clothing, then, I want to know what's her footwear. That'll tell me everything I need to know if she was planning.
Right.
And you know
Did
how,
she
like, your
prepare?
guilt, like, it's, like, second degree or first degree based on, like, how much prepping you did? That's all I need. Like, if there's proof that she prepped for this...
I actually didn't know that, like, but I see what you're saying. Like, is it premeditated or not?
Premeditate. Yeah. Then it changes the
severity of the consequences.
Do that.
Okay,
that's all I'll say. Continue. Sorry to interrupt.
I
I just had to get that last bit in. It seemed important.
I also recommend the docuseries on HBO, Low Country, which is about those insane murders in like South Carolina or whatever, where remember it all began with that kid who was underage drinking and then wrecked his boat. Does this ring a bell? And the girl died. She died in the wreck. Mm-mm. And then like that, they're a very high profile family, very powerful family in South Carolina.
Okay.
And that boat accident, quote unquote, was like the beginning of the unraveling.
Quote
of like,
unquote. Ooh.
Well, I mean, technically it was an accident, but it was that like he was drunk as a skunk and like had been taught his whole life that there are no consequences for like anything. And so it was complete negligence and kind of like sociopathy, really. And
this is like the same Army Hammer shit.
Yeah, it kind of is. Oh my God,
Susie,
you're right.
It fits our thing of like, that what's his name too? I'm gonna get his name right because I got it wrong before. Fred? Nope. Robert Durst. I went real slow. This is what happens every time I try to pronounce nuclear. No!
What is with you people? Lincoln always says nuclear, and I go, that's not a word.
Nuclear.
It's nuclear.
Clear.
That's how you spell it. Nuclear. It's spelled...
Don't ask me how to fucking spell it. I don't... Suze.
You ADHD people are like my cross to bear. I swear. Okay. So anyway, this boat accident was like the thing that made the house of cards fall. Mm-hmm. So for 100 years, this family ran that town. They were the attorney general.
That's bad.
They had it all sorted.
Then you get to decide what cases get tried and what cases don't. So you're
and like
definitely
the
playing
law
favorites
enforcement
there.
are like buddy with you, and everything is just like it's like white people crime.
Yeah.
And so then next thing you know, that son, the one that wrecked the boat, and his mom were murdered. And the dad was like, this is clearly revenge for the boating accident. Like, people are mad that he did that. But the dad is now on trial for those murders. And
of
this
his
documentary,
wife and son? This sounds like a plot of it's like
Dallas
drama.
or something.
Yeah, or like Ozark or something. I didn't see, but I imagine.
Your references are like modern and mine are like 1984.
Yeah, I was like, let
Dallas,
me throw you guys
shot
something
JR?
more recent. So the under 70 crowd can have something to relate to. Susie, how are we going to stay relevant?
For real. What is wrong with me? I'm like, oh, you mean who shot JR? Right. Okay. Ozark. That's what it's like. Whatever that is. Yes. And then this documentary shows that there are so many more deaths and nonsense that happened, and it is
I'm telling you,
unbelievable.
I
White
feel
people
like
are fucked up.
they are, and I feel like my family. It's probably. I mean, we've been in America for a long ass fucking time, and they were all attorney generals and shit like that. Bad things, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Like.
Well, because if you believe,
a nice way to put it,
right, and if you truly believe
foul play,
there are no consequences.
Yeah, I know it. I mean, I benefit none from because I'm totally cut off from all of my family. But
yeah, because you tried to undo.
Yeah, I did, and they were like,
that.
"Shh, shut up."
Yeah, right. You're messing up our whole
Yeah,
thing.
Totally.
Yeah, but if enough stuff happens, or if it's high profile enough, then it can unravel.
Yeah.
If you get enough eyeballs on it, where people are like,
It's
wait
just a matter of
minute.
time.
Yeah, that's true, but sometimes it takes a long ass time.
Yeah, man,
It's crazy.
it really is. Ooh, that's. I can't believe it. Well, yeah, the story. Of course, they're real. I do believe they're. Of course, it's just crazy how.
I'll tell you what else I believe, and that is how great Jenny Kane clothing is.
I wish I were wearing them right now, but I just took them over to Eli's house because I was like, I cannot. Well, we were having a dinner party the other night, and this is so crazy when your comfy clothes are also your show-off clothes.
Totally.
That's what happened.
That's
I was like,
what Jenny
why
Kane
am I not wearing my fancy slippers? So I had to bring them over. I had to bring them back because usually I save them for my studio. It's like I wear them around here.
Yeah.
They keep they are the best. But I'm like, I am depriving the rest of the world from seeing the most beautiful shoes because they're so comfortable too.
Yeah. And let me tell you, this is not an exaggeration. Sarah can attest to this. Mm-hmm. From the day I received my Jenny Kane cashmere sweater, I wore it every single day. Including, like, I'll take it off, and then I'll put my jammies on, and then I'll put this sweater back on.
It's appropriate for that.
Because it's like, is it a robe? Is it a sweater? Is it
so nice.
Just my other skin? Because that's how good it is. And what I love about them is these are, like, pieces that you'll have forever.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I love those shoes.
Yeah. Sarah keeps sending me pictures of her wearing them.
And then I told Eli, I was like, I really want to wear these to brunch because we were going out to brunch the other day.
You can wear them to brunch.
He said, you shouldn't because you should keep them nice. It's too snowy outside.
Oh, that's true. He's right about that.
He is right because I was going to take him out into the Colorado mud. And nope, those have not.
No,
they're. I love them.
So nice.
They're so, and you are right. They're the warmest shoe. My foot is like sweaty, which you need because it's literally 5 degrees out here today.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my watch because
I told her, I said, I have the boots, and I'm like, those are only to be worn on the coldest of days because they're so effective. But their sweaters are incredible. It's just forever pieces, and you can find your forever pieces at jennykane.com. Our listeners get 15% off your first order when you use code BRAINCANDY at checkout. That's 15% off your first order. It's JINNIKAYNE.com, promo code Brain Candy. Treat yourself because you deserve it, people. I'm telling you. I have it in gray and I just bought the ivory because I'm a fancy lady.
Yeah.
That wears white sometimes.
I'm going to send you this article. I just read this whole thing about how there's this new look of like, what do they call them? They called them like vanilla ladies or latte ladies or something of women who wear all like neutral, like beige.
Yeah.
Susie, I was wearing an off-white matching suit as I was reading the article, and then I showed it to Eli, and he was like, oh. I am that lady.
It's like coastal grandma, but better.
We all just want to be like Diane Keaton and
It's true. Anyway, you guys will love them. Check them out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Low Country is what it's called. It's bonkers. It's like, man, it's effed up. Hey, did you hear, kind of speaking about like crime and whatever, did you hear about how the Stanford Prison Experiment, which is
Familiar,
probably the most famous.
Yes, we reference it all the time.
Psychology experiment. Somebody started looking at the files from it because they wanted to see like what went on and all that jazz. And if you're not familiar, the experiment was done at Stanford, and it had two groups of students. One group was assigned to be the quote unquote prisoners. Yes. And then the other group was assigned to be the wardens or like the, I don't know, prison guards or something.
Prison guards, yeah.
And then for 2 weeks, they just lived on campus and played those roles. And they just were supposed to be demonstrating what happens and what's human instinct and all that in that situation. So it's so famous because it found that the guards very quickly became maniacal and dictatorial and treated the prisoners like subhuman, and the prisoners revolted but eventually the prisoners also like sort of just accepted that they were like garbage and stuff like that.
Everybody fell into the identity that they were labeled.
Yes.
The roles that they were given. If you were told that this is your job and this is what you do, it didn't matter what your background was, where you came from, understanding that this was a study. You just did
what was expected of you.
Yes.
And it's often used as evidence that humans are sort of just kind of like low-life animals, really. But anyway, somebody started to look at the actual files from that time and watch the videos in their entirety. And if you've ever seen the videos, I mean, they're compelling because it's so disturbing what these students went through and what they did.
Yeah.
But if you watch them in their entirety, evidently there's some clips where the researcher's assistant was also one of the guards. And this assistant was on camera and on audio being like, hey, you need to be rough. You need to be cruel. You have to assert yourself. You have to be violent and all the stuff, like instructing them basically.
Yeah.
And the student was like, well, but I'm really not tough like that. I'm really not like that. And they're like, well, you better gear up. That's what we're going to do. And so clearly they were being coached, the guards, to be violent and aggressive.
And you're never going to duplicate this study.
Right, because now you couldn't do it
It's
at all.
totally unethical. Mm-hmm. See, this is the fucking problem with all those studies, which is this is why diagnosing, this is why we don't work with insurance at my practice. And because like, it's just, well, I mean, that's,
there's a price to pay,
but yes, with anything, there's like,
because that would broaden your client base, but then you'd have to sacrifice probably other elements of your
for sure
practice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you got to diagnose people with things that are diagnoses that are based on, the DSM. And now with what I'm like, I don't, based on these studies.
Exactly. Everything can be flawed.
Yes. And if the thing that you're using to reference future studies and all this is inherently flawed, then so is all the future work. It's kind of like when you find out, that judge has been taking bribes and all the other cases that the judge tried get thrown out. This kind of feels like it's a very loosey-goosey thing to base a lot of like assumptions on when this whole study is flawed.
Well, because it doesn't
Same with
mean
the Pavlov one. Remember we talked about that? And that guy was like cutting out the fucking esophaguses of dogs. Wasn't even using a bell.
Yeah. Wasn't even using a bell. Right. And so like the conclusions could be accurate. It's not saying this should all be thrown out.
Right.
But it puts into question the reliability of the conclusions because, Sarah.
Yeah.
Wait, I wanted to say, let me read specifically and then I'll say what I wanted to think. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, no, that's a different one. But basically, we always refer to how the challenge kind of feels like the Stanford Prison Experiment sometimes.
Totally.
Because we know, and maybe more so now that we've learned this, we know what's expected of us.
Yeah.
We know that to make a great show, you have to be shocking.
You need to act a little more like this. That was my 3rd season. Well, I'm not really the party type. Well, you need to act like the party type if you think you're going to get cast on here again. And I did.
For real? They said that?
Well, they didn't say that. My peers said that. That was the message I got from those around from wherever.
Yeah, like the other participants. And in the Stanford Prison Experiment, the other participant, who happened to also be the research assistant, is saying like, hey, we're the guards here. We're running this show, and you need to assert yourself, and you need to be this way or that way. Well, that's going to modify their sense of expectation and then probably their behavior. So
interesting.
Something to consider.
Where did you hear this? Where'd you see this?
This was on NPR.
Wow.
They were interviewing someone who I believe has a new book out, but I don't recall the name of the book.
This is the crazy thing is like what this really shows me is how much I remember being in grad school and doing the research projects, and you're really tired. You have so many papers to write. You're like
going through the motions, kind of.
You're going through the motions. Mm-hmm. You're like, I'll just look at the highlight video.
Yeah.
And then you doc.
Mm-hmm.
I and every other student before me did that. And then this one student's like, maybe we should watch the full video.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that's like what happened.
Yeah.
Like, oh
if
shit,
you know
that's totally
if you know the
different.
Context. Like if you as a person,
there would be no. I can see how easy it would be to just keep like that's what research does so often.
Well, and you have to. There is a level of trust in that the people that came before me were following ethical rules, or at least exposing any kind of limitations or mistakes that were made. And these people are still alive. So, like the guy that ran the study was like, yes, there are some methodological problems with this experiment, but the conclusions are still valid. Well, how do you know? How do you know?
Big leap. How do you know?
But this is this person's identity. It's like the detective in that thing.
Yes. Oh,
well, if you undo this is his legacy.
Good connection.
Because it's human, like nature.
Right.
Why would you want to unravel the thing that's like propping you up?
Yeah.
So there you go. The other thing that I was about to bring up that turned out was from another thing, funnily enough, was from an article about why are Legos so painful to walk on.
Oh my God.
Which
I heard somebody I in the book that we're reading for book club, they use the insult like step on a Lego or something. And I was like, that is so fucking genius. I bookmarked it and I was going to talk about it. So it's so funny that you bring this up. It was like you were in my brain. Oh.
Well, we've all done it. We've all stepped on a Lego. It's a nightmare. And it's hard to believe anything so small could be so painful. But there was a Smithsonian article that was just saying, like, here's the physics of why that is true. So they were comparing it to stepping on the hot coals or broken glass.
Okay.
And we've talked about the hot coals thing and how like I fucking hate it and how it's all stupid. Like any kind of like trust or bonding or like
my mom did this the weekend before she had her accident, and then when she had her accident, they were like, what happened to your feet when you fell? And she had to explain to them that she walked on hot coals the previous weekend.
No. Yes. Only Sally.
Only Sally. Yeah.
Well, they were saying, first of all, the hot coals thing is kind of bullshit because the people that conduct these, like, they let the fire go for about 45 minutes to an hour so that it's then just embers, it's not like fucking roaring campfire or something. It's those like coals that are still illuminated, and that even if it says like this is 900 degrees, that really like the speed at which you walk across them prevents any kind of
heat transfers at a rate that's
true
not fast
damage.
Quickly.
Yeah. But then broken glass, which is more like the Lego experience.
The sharp pressure pain versus heat transfer pain.
Yeah.
Totally different. Yeah.
They said that the broken glass thing is more like the Legos, but it's still less painful.
Walking on broken Legos. Walking on broken Legos.
That when you're walking on broken glass, that it's broken up enough that they're small pieces, and then that they are able to be pushed down and pressed in and shift.
Yeah, like your skin can absorb the shape so as to not. I can totally see exactly where we're going with this.
Yeah, but then Legos, they do not shift. They don't give at all, and so whereas on the glass, the weight is distributed on your whole foot, so nothing is hitting glass enough to break the skin. Whereas with Lego, it's like wherever it goes in is where it goes in. The only thing that's moving is your foot rather than the ground below. And so it creates a lot of pain. And the reason why they don't hurt kids as much is because they just don't have as much weight. So the weight is less, and so then the pressure is less. But the thing that struck me about this was it says the reason that people even do this, because this is growing in popularity, whether it's on TikTok or just in real life.
Walking
that people
across
are like,
Legos?
Yeah, like they're trying to beat the record. I walked on Legos further and all that. Is because, it builds trust with groups and like that thing of transfer of arousal too, where like when you do it with people, it increases trust and bonding and all that jazz.
We're missing such a huge fucking chunk of this. It's annoying to me.
What?
Okay, I want you to continue with what you're saying, and then I will.
Okay, I just wanted to say that in the article, the following sentence was, the groups that shared painful challenges were more cooperative during economic game as compared to those who didn't go through the painful experiences, and it built their social bond and trust. And so I was like, why doesn't this apply on the challenge? Because it's on one, you're like doing things and you're all splitting the pot. It does do that when it's a team challenge and everybody shares the pot. It doesn't do that if you were making it one person gets everything in the end. Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Making it where there's like one winner or loser cancels out any kind of bonding or trust that could be developed.
But I will say that's what the shared pain is what makes it so everybody goes, we're like a family. Mm-hmm. It creates the sense of bonding, but what you have on the challenge that you don't have in this situation is the cutthroat. Like, I'm going to throw you under the bus and like take the money and run.
Okay, then Sarah, are you trying?
Are you?
Because I mean, you and Johnny were on the same team, and I know what you're saying. Like it, and in the end, it was versus you were opponents, but like you kind of thought
I did
you were going to win together. So like, how come it didn't apply? Because then at the last minute, whatever bonding and stuff occurred was canceled out because now you're opponents.
Yeah.
It's a real bummer.
Yeah, but I do think that this is what you see in like people who have survived an accident together. I think this is what you see, like I don't know. I think this is what you'd see in people who like went through something like a struggle, but there wasn't anything that they could be gained through the other. Like it wasn't for a prize. You know, like in the military, even if they're, you know, like Navy SEALs or, you know, anything like that.
Yeah, like their family forever. It's so annoying.
Yes. Here's what I think they're missing in the Lego thing specifically. And why Legos. And if the article didn't mention this, I'm going to guess it was written by a man. A big, huge component of why what we're looking at in the Lego response, this is just looking at the Lego pain response. But anybody who has stubbed their toe the same week that your period starts, or right after you got in a fight with your boyfriend, or right after you yelled at your kid for doing something, knows that the pain that you experience when you stub your toe then is 10 times the amount that you'd normally feel. If you step on a Lego, there are more emotional ties to what just happened than the pain response of stepping on a Lego. We can assume a kid's toys have been left out. The parent probably asked for those toys to be picked up. Now you step on a Lego. This is not just the pain of, I stepped on a Lego. This is the, oh, I told them to pick this up, paired with the emotional pain, paired with the physical pain. That's why stepping on a Lego is so much more intense.
Yeah, because if you did step on a piece of glass at your house, nobody just
there's
sort of left
no
it out.
blame. No, right. This is deeper. And I bet somebody who's not a mother wrote this, because a mother would have a different feeling.
That is so funny. It is a woman, but I think you're right. I
bet she doesn't have kids.
Other than a therapist.
Right. That this is different. Maybe she does. What do I know? But I'm just saying, I'm writing fan fiction is what I'm doing. So
no, because
I think there's an emotional component that we're ignoring. That there's a reason why that the significance that there's more when you step on the Lego. Anybody who stepped, you know how many Legos I've stepped on in my house? Fucking 0. How many have you stepped on? Probably a few.
Yeah.
Literally never stepped on a Lego accidentally in my life. Adult life. Because I have no children around leaving Lego shit everywhere. But if I did, it would then remind me about a lot more than just those. It would probably remind me about my friend who doesn't have any kids, who doesn't ever step on Legos, which would then make me feel like this is a thing that I think we're missing in this. And so that's why I think all the YouTube people, or people who are like, whatever it is, TikTok people who are like, look at how many Lego cross on, are doing it without the emotional pain. That's what makes it so intolerable.
That is a very insightful theory.
Thank you.
I never thought of it myself.
Thank you.
And I am a mom.
Thank you. I held on to that one. I was like, I know this is so good, I'm going to let her finish the whole Lego story. And I'm not even going to interrupt to try to share this, which I always do. So
I should ask Lincoln too, like, what do you think would be worse, stepping on a Lego or stepping on glass?
He'd probably say glass.
He would probably say glass.
Yes, he would. And I think anybody who doesn't have children would say glass. I actually think we could do this poll. Because I would say glass. And you were like, oh! Because I've literally never experienced this. Yes, I really do think. I can't believe that this isn't. If I were an older person, if I were retired, I would write a letter. I would write into, this would be like, I would write the editor, and I'd say, I just want to say, because we always talk about like who does those kind of things, where like people who have a whole bunch of time, or like, and I remember I wrote in the corrections in that crossword puzzle once that like, and they were like, thanks so much, and then they didn't even send me anything new, like that, because it's like nothing's going to happen. So I need time to do this, but I think if I were 80 years old, I would write the editor and say that.
Well, but as a parent who was reading it and didn't think of it, I would say, whenever you register pain, typically you're just going to go with what's obvious. And it's like, this Lego hurt.
100%. Well, also, we know why. Because when you're experiencing pain, the part of your brain that would be able to even have the awareness of that is not functioning, because you're in like that's the reptilian part of your brain that's like even registering that. It's because I'm not experiencing that pain and I don't have the emotional ties to it that I'm able to even have the awareness and like recognize it, because you can step back from it's like how I say to my clients, you got to like zoom out on the problem. If you're in it, it's because I don't have that emotional tie that I can have that well, whatever, like,
you have more clarity.
Because you're probably thinking about that physical response. Interesting.
I'm impressed.
It's a good story. I can't wait to hear what other Lego stepper honors have to say about this. I could be both. It could be.
No, I think people will be like, "Oh yeah, I think you're onto something." All right.
Yeah.
What do you want to hear about? Just a little bit of trivia about autism, or
I want to hear that.
About subtitles. Okay.
Oh, but I want to hear that too. Oh, I'm gonna go with subtitles.
Okay.
I am.
Because
Eli and I love to joke. I can't hear the movie without the subtitles on.
So you leave them on.
I would love them on and everything. Except comedy. Because I've heard that nobody likes watching that with me because I laugh before they say it because they pop up on the screen. And I did not know I was doing that until somebody said, we can't do that anymore. That's annoying.
I can't believe you're watching subtitles on like comedy.
Well, only because I'm too lazy to turn them on. They just go on and then they just stay on.
You have them on by default?
I like them.
Wow. No, you're not alone. You're not alone. I don't ever use subtitles, but apparently
you have a British husband. I swear. Because half the reason I turn them on in the first place is for things like Game of Thrones, where I can't understand what they're saying because it's too dark and everybody's accent is too British. I can't understand them.
I will say that whenever someone says something British and I don't know what they said, I just ask him. I'm like, what did they say?
And that's it. And it's because we watch a lot of shows that have people with English accents, and so we turn on subtitles, and then they stay on through Bob's Burgers.
A lot of Gen Zers, a lot of young people are using subtitles all the time, and there was an article or video article on, I think it was Vice, about like why, and it was saying that it's not like just sort of a generational thing or whatever. It is that there's all these factors that come in that make it really hard to understand what actors are saying now, that it didn't used to be like that.
Okay, so like the sound.
Yeah, they were listing all the things. Some of it's like technological, mostly because it's like, first of all, a lot of things are made for the movie theater, but then we watch them on our laptops or on the flat screens that are so thin, and so the speakers are on the back and it goes into the wall, and so the flat screens are designed to look nicer. They're not designed because they sound better or something.
Right. You almost have to buy the separate thing, like a sound bar. We had to like get separate speakers to make it so we could actually hear. And now we could hear now we don't use the subtitles as much.
Yeah.
Because we got,
you have a better sound system.
Yes. That just happened.
Then it was saying like that back in the day, like old timey movies, black and whites, they didn't have great microphone systems, so like actors projected almost like they were in the theater still, and it was like very dramatic.
You are so right.
And now we have these awesome lavalier mics that we wear, or actors wear, and they know how powerful the mics are, so they know they can just sort of whisper and it'll pick it up. Like famously, I think it was Robert De Niro, like his co-stars are always like, we can't even hear him when he does his lines, but the mic picks it up. So like the mic can hear it, but the human can't.
This makes so much sense. You are so right. You are pointing out things that changing of like white paint to off-white paint on the wall where you'd never notice. But now when you say, I'm like, that isn't fucking different. They talk.
Yeah.
You are so right. How actors project their voice changed because of microphones.
Yeah, they didn't have to scream everything, So then they kind of almost took it too far where they're just like, they don't even feel like they have to say that. And they assume the mic will pick it up, which it does, but it really only works well in a theater.
Right, where you can hear, and the sound's coming at you from all sides.
And you know that thing where like you're watching a movie and like the action parts are so loud and it almost hurts?
Loud. I said that to that. I'm like, if they can invent something that stops this, I will spend whatever money you want. Because I hate it.
Well, they had an audio like I don't think it's an engineer. Like she's an engineer, but on the back end, like in post, and she was like, "We can't do it." Like everyone just says, "Can't you just turn down?" It's hurting our ears, but like. In order for you as the viewer to understand that this isn't just like a little explosion, this is like a bomb exploding, it has to be humongous in comparison to the actors sort of just regular talking.
Oh, right.
But
it makes sense when you say it, but I don't like it.
No, none of us like it. I don't know. They need to sort it out. We put a man on the moon.
And can we just turn up the lights too?
What do you mean?
It's too dark on every show.
Is it? Oh yeah, I remember people saying that about Game of Thrones. They'd be like, we can't even see the scene.
HBO, what's happening?
Why do they do
Turn
that?
up the brightness. Euphoria, too dark. Game of Thrones,
I wonder what the reason
too dark.
is.
I don't know.
There must be a similar
it's like a
reason.
Mood thing. Yeah, I think so. You know what? Maybe.
But I mean, for real, sort it out.
Sort it out, please. Would you? Harry Potter. You can look at all of those. They've done that. Like the Harry Potter just gets darker and darker and darker and darker. And I don't mean by subject matter.
When my mom was here, when she was recovering, like Lincoln made her watch all the Harry Potter movies, which she wouldn't even like. We weren't allowed to watch shit like that growing up.
Wizards.
Right. It's satanic. I mean, God.
It's a gateway drug.
It's like the occult.
Yeah.
And anyway, she like didn't get that it was the same Harry Potter in every movie. She thought it was like, because, to her it's all happening at once. Like, but for us it was over 20 years or something.
Oh, I see.
But like, he told us one night, he was like laughing when he was supposed to be going to sleep. And I'm like, what is so funny? And then he told me, he's like, Peg thought that it was multiple Harry Potter actors. And I was like, okay, that is funny.
I love that he's just lying and Peg giggling about that. He is your son.
What a dumbass, Peg.
That's so great.
Okay, one more Lincoln story and then I know we got to go. This is so funny. We ran out of normal tea that we have every morning. And I was drinking the tea and then I noticed on the tag that it was decaffeinated. And I was like, decaffeinated? I don't want, what is this? And Lincoln was like, is mine decapitated too? Like, dead serious.
Is mine decapitated?
Like, number one, that he would care. And number two, that he thought decapitated was the right word.
That is so cute. That's times. When I love when you find the thing that the kid says that you're going to keep saying that. Like, for the next 30 years. He guaranteed he's going to be like,
true.
Because my little brother used to call it a flum instead of a thumb, and I'm like, well, this is a flum, and now we still say that because one time he said flum, and so now it's always going to be decapitated tea. It's so good.
Anyway, whatever you get it. We were winding down. There was murders. There was false confessions. There was
so many murders.
Prison experiment. There was a woman stuck in a storm drain. I mean.
Yeah, this is a lot of like controversial. You thought it was going to be one way, but
it's not.
Turns out it's different.
Yeah,
don't step on a Lego, but better than glass. Or no, worse than glass. Worse than coals.
It is. I say yeah, and I think this is evidence that all that bullshit of like I walked across hot coals and glass. It's like no, fuck. It's not impressive. Get over yourself.
No.
Get 1,000 paper cuts, then we're talking.
There you go. Then talk to me.
Yeah. Tell me how you endured that. Okay. Anyway, I forgot to leave. I was supposed to read a review.
Oh.
I won't burden you with the music, with the jingle, but I will say this review is cute. This is from Classic Greenway, which I love that name.
Yeah.
Love this podcast! ! I listen every time a new one drops. Y'all make me think and laugh out loud. I love this podcast. Thank you, Classic Greenway.
Thank you. And thank you for your inclusive use of y'all. I love a y'all.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't love y'all because my worst enemy is a Southerner and she says y'all.
Oh.
But I do like that it's gender inclusive.
Okay. I do like that too.
We love you guys. Thank you for all the reviews and for checking out our website, thebraincattypodcast.com, because we have merch up there. You can join our book club. You can join our doc club. Check out our patreon.com/braincandy for more content.
So much fun stuff.
We love you guys.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.